Do you sit there and self-sabotage your own power? Do you train people to think less of you? You know, you might not be thinking you do it, but I want to give you a quick example of something that came up where this woman, she was a bank manager, and I was appalled at the way that she was self-sabotaging her own power, but it also gave me insight into how people think about themselves, which made a huge difference in the way we interacted. And I want you to never make these mistakes again, but also to set yourself up to speak with more confidence, because internally, that's all that matters. So, quick background of the story was I was opening up a new business bank account, and I went in, and the person that normally opens them up wasn't there, but the manager said, "Hey, I'll do it for you. Come on in." So I'm sitting in her office. We're going through, and she hit an area that she didn't know how to do it. So she calls, Sam, the normal guy that does this. So she gets on the phone. She's like, "Hi, Sam, it's Martha." She's like, "Stupid question for you. How do you do blah, 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 blah?" And he gives the answer, and then we come back. And I sit there and I go, why would you say that it's a stupid question? A lot of times with my clients, when they're looking to increase their confidence, it's the big changes, the big moves. We get them on camera. We get them to do, big changes on the way they hold their body, if they put themselves out there, the energy. But a lot of times too, there's the subtleties. It's these subtleties that when you don't pay attention to them, they can either build your confidence or sabotage your confidence. And so this was a classic example of somebody sitting here of saying, stupid questions. Why would you call it a stupid question? It's a legitimate question, for starters. But two, you're in front of a client. So as a client, when you are saying that you're asking stupid questions, immediately my trust levels go down. I'm not viewing you as an expert. And I'm also questioning if you're going to be able to make this transaction possible. So you're casting so many doubts on your abilities to me, and this is the beginning of it, So this is so important. But we go through, we're doing more information, putting in the computer, and then hit a roadblock again. Calls the guy, "Sam, hey, it's Martha." She's like, "Another stupid question for you. You're going to hate me for this, but blah, 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 blah." And I'm sitting there going, wow, this is twice. Like, I can't believe you're doing this in front of me. But also, I don't even, she wasn't even aware of how she was speaking to herself. So when we're looking at this, people say, like, I want more confidence. I want to be treated with more respect by others. Well, first, we have to look at, are you respecting yourself? Are you, talking to yourself in a way that's not to be respected? Because oftentimes we get back, it's a reflection of how we think of ourselves. So if you're sitting there thinking that you have stupid questions, that you're an idiot, that you're not really as professional as you think that you should be, and you really don't have a high value of yourself, people will respond to that. So oftentimes, people say like, "Oh, I'm treated like a doormat, and I want to change it." Okay, and the first thing they do is like, how can I change people around me? It's not about changing people around you. It's about changing how do you view yourself? How do you speak to yourself? When you change that, people react differently. So bringing it back to this bank situation, we got through it. I opened the account, but I walked out of there with an uneasy feeling. I wasn't sure, and fair enough. I actually did hit some roadblocks when I couldn't deposit checks. They wouldn't allow me to deposit checks at an ATM. She messed up on the account details, which is crazy because of course I want to deposit a check. But I'm sitting there but I walked out with this feeling of uneasiness and of questions. So for a client, as a company, you want your staff to help people so that they walk out feeling like, oh, okay, this is good. I trust this person, right? I made the right decision, which was the complete opposite of how I felt walking out of there. But more importantly, it gave me insight into how this lady views herself. So I'm using this as an example for you. Take inventory of yourself. Go inside and ask yourself, how do I talk about myself? How do I think about myself? What do I say to myself? These are all the elements that if you want to have more confidence, to put yourself out there, to get more respect, to get those promotions, to be a more happy, positive, successful person, well, before we can get any of this external stuff, you have to focus inside. So change the way that we talk about ourselves, how we think about ourselves. So just imagine, what is the ultimate self that you want to be? How is it that you want to show up in the world? And then look at, how am I coming across right now? Where am I? How do I talk to myself? What do I think about myself? What do I do? And if they don't line up, identify what steps do I have to put in action to close that gap. Because we have to identify where we want to go. And this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, and I'll address this in a future video, but people make this all the time, is that they think they're just going to grow into the role. That over time, by some magical situation, they're going to become more confident. It doesn't just work like that. You have to create that goal of where you want to go, but then sit back and go, where am I right now? But also, what steps do I need to do to get there? This is goal setting. This is about the execution. This is not a situation where you want to think about it and it's going to magically happen, because unfortunately, there's no magic pill. That does not happen. The only way this occurs is you have to have a very clear image of what you want to become and be very aware. It might hurt, but say, where am I right now? How am I holding myself back? And then ask yourself, what steps do I need to do to get to where I want to go? You do those, take those steps, this will make it happen, it'll be amazing. And as always, put any comments, feedback below, because I love to hear what you have to say.